Tracy Pacheco, and I am your holistic nurse. And I am here to help you inspire and aspire to greatness. I share holistic tips and tricks with you so that you can just get a full purpose, a full picture to accomplish your purpose. I share some marketing advice, I share some holistic advice, and a little bit of motivation and inspiration. So I hope you get some value from today's show. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to inspire and how to aspire. Now, I don't know why I'm wearing black because it's not the best color to demonstrate what I'm about to demonstrate to you. But I hope you will get my point, okay? So, when I was in school, I remember they told us in high school, you were taught many things incorrectly, right? Won't go down that rabbit hole. But the one thing that really caught my attention was how to breathe, right? We had physical education, PE, right? And our instructor, she said, we don't breathe correctly as humans, right? And now that I'm in holistic nursing and, I do a lot of yoga, it's fascinating the power of the breath and its integration or its connection with the mind, right? So today, what I will be discussing is how we breathe, right? So if I tell you right now, take a deep breath, well, because I already said we breathe wrong, you're probably gonna have to consciously redirect. But let me show you. Let me show you. So if I say take a deep breath in, what we used to do back in the day, if you look at my chest, right? What we used to do is like take a deep breath in, we would go like this, right? We suck it all in, right? Squeeze it all in, right? And then you say breathe out and go, then you let it all out. But then, just simple physics, you understand to take a deep breath, the correct way to take a deep breath is where you actually allow your abdominal cavity to fill up. So you will actually to breathe in instead of sucking it in, you would actually release and allow your abdominal cavity to open up wide, right? And allow the air to drop all the way to the base, right? So it's literally the opposite of what we would do as children. And then to breathe out, what you would do is you would like steam up and pull in as tightly as you can the abdominal cavity and it will get tightened. And then that allows the air to naturally expel and naturally flow out of you. Okay, so that was my demonstration for you. Sorry about the black. I'll wear a different color next time. But I hope you get my idea, right? The way we breathe is counterintuitive from what we normally or naturally want to do, right? And it for us to take a deep breath the correct way, especially when you're starting off, you have to consciously do it, meaning it's not natural. You have to literally tell yourself, open up, release, let it open up wide, right? And then eventually, even sometimes I still find myself taking a deep breath in and sucking it in, squeezing it, right? Because it's not yet a conscious thing. Now, I don't, maybe somebody here looking at this can give me an explanation of why, as humans, we suck in instead of release. But I wanted to take that illustration all the way to what we do when we are aspiring. So when we inspire, we have to make that conscious decision to breathe correctly. It's the same thing when we are aspiring. We do something very, very similar. We suck it in, right? So when we want more, right? When we want to capture more audience and when we want to capture more people, what do we tend to do, right? Hold on tight. We hold on and we squeeze, right? We push, right? When we really should be releasing. We should release. So I'm telling you this, not because I'm an expert. I'm telling you this because I am sharing as I am going through my journey. I am sharing some of the things that I have learned, and that is really profound and blowing my mind. And I just finished reading the book 10x is greater than 2, which is by Benjamin Hardy and Dr. Dan Sullivan. May have messed it up. Please forgive me. But I kudos to you. I appreciate the book. That book, whoa, that process of aspiring. When we want more, we go after and we grab it, right? We hold on tight. But really, to get more, you have to do less. You have to hold on to less, right? And you have to learn how to release. And I said, that's the same thing like when we're breathing, right? We have it all mixed up. So if it's all mixed up, means just like when we are going to breathe, we need to make a conscious decision if we want to do it the correct way. When we are going to grow, we need to make a conscious decision so that we do it the right way. And when we want to grow, we naturally would try to hold on, squeeze, and go hard when we really should be scaling back and going less and more deep and more intense. And that takes conscious thought. So I wanted to share that because sometimes we beat ourselves up because we are faulting ourselves for unconscious actions. And I just wanted to share that just like how we have to consciously train ourselves to breathe correctly, we also have to consciously train ourselves to grow correctly, to aspire correctly. And, I always have to drop it into the holistic realm of things, but it's actually a spiritual practice in surrendering, in letting go. You know, I spent many years as a Bible teacher, and I realized that there was a trend between people who had a hard time forgiving others with people who had a hard time of letting go of things. And so then you see a lot of clutter in the environment, right? So it's an actual spiritual practice. Notice I didn't say religious, but it's a spiritual practice to let go, to surrender, right? Why? Because when you let go, you have to have this quality of faith, that trust that it will come back. If not that, better. So if your faith is not really big, right? If your faith is like, all I know is what I have, and all I have is all I can see, you wouldn't have trust to let go. And when I say trust to let go, that's not just letting go of what you have, but that can also be letting go and taking risk, letting go of the perception that you have of yourself, letting go of the perceptions that other people have of you, right? Sometimes, if you are coming from a space where in your purpose, you have helped a lot of people, and helping a lot of people meant giving away things for free, or helping a lot of people meant working yourself to the bone and not taking care of yourself and focusing all in on everybody else but yourself. Letting go looks like, it might look like being selfish to you in your eyes, right? Because it actually might mean to take care of yourself. And in order to let go of that perspective of you being that go to person, you being that person who's there for everybody and everything at every time, right? You may have to let go of that identity and get another identity, or develop another identity where you take care of yourself first. That's some surrender. People talk about surrender, but sometimes it doesn't drop to these levels, the conversation. But I'm going to go there with you, right? Because sometimes not surrendering is selfish. So on this channel, I am talking specifically to people who have purpose, divine purpose. They know that it's not just a business or not just a podcast that they're starting. They know that what they're doing is in direct alignment with the purpose that they were created for. And sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we're so used to being known to be this kind of person, or we're so used to doing things this kind of way, or we're so used to not spending a certain type of money, or having a certain type of look, or having other people help us. We're so used to that all those other things we can't surrender to. right? We can't. And sometimes people say, oh, I don't have the money. And it's not the money, it's they don't know how to receive. You don't know how to accept help. Sometimes they say, oh, I don't have the time. And it's not the time. You don't know how to say no, right? You don't know how to set boundaries, right? And instead of saying, let me learn how to, right? Your surrender looks like that just does not work for me right now, right? And I know it's coming across strong because I had to talk to myself strongly too and say, okay, you used to doing everything by yourself. You used to not making this investment, right? But where has it gotten you on your purpose? How many people are you reaching out to? How many people are you impacting with your message? Are you being impacted by your message? You see, that's the thing. When we're not serving those who we are purposed to serve, we also not serving ourselves. So surrender is a spiritual practice, right? Surrendering. I know for myself, I was a person always good with money. Always. When I came to this country, I always kept $500 in my bank account. $500 in my bank account because I always say, I might need a plane ticket to go back home. And I just don't never want to be stranded, right? I had to surrender that. There came a point in my life where I had to say, God, if I need a ticket, you're going to provide for me, right? I had to surrender. And as I got into business, I realized God kept working on my risk tolerance. He kept saying, you say you have faith, right? All these years you're preaching about faith, right? But let's see it in action now. Let me see what your faith is going to move you to do. Let me see if your faith is going to allow you to ask for more money, to call your prices, right? To go and literally put yourself in the places and spaces so you can get business, you can get knowledge, you can get insight. Would your faith move you to do that, right? So surrender is actually a very, very spiritual practice, but it's the exact thing that you need to grow your business, to grow your podcast, to grow your following, right? You need to let go. So when you let go, you gain more, right? They always show you a fist, if you have a fist, and this is all the tighter your fist, the less you can get, right? If you open up, you can get more, right? But the thing about opening up, sometimes if you open like this, you get a lot. But sometimes if you open wide, what happens is that you have holes, right? And the holes is what make us scared because we say, yes, I can capture more, but I won't be able to hold on to it, right? So what I want to share with you today is when you hold it open wide, you become a vessel where you're not just collecting, but you are the vessel where things can become continually become part of you, where you become part of it and it pours through you. So the aim is not just to hold on to, but it's to flow, right? If you think about a river, right? If you think about electricity, current, right? The sea, current, right? You have currents going. Currents is the flow, right? And that's when, if you want currency, right, which means the flow of money, right, you have to be open to letting it pour through you. And this is something I didn't realize and I didn't understand. And I had to sit down and think, and I say, some of the richest countries, some of the richest continents are poor because they have the wealth, they just don't have the currency, right? They have the valuable goods, but there is no movement of it. It can't move, right? So if it can't move, right, and if it's stagnant, it does not really serve the purpose. When you think, and I always come back to thinking, everything is energy. So when you think of yourself as energy, you have to move. And the things in your area and your surroundings have to be constantly moving. And sometimes we don't want to open up and surrender because we want to hold on to it. And what I'm saying here is that it's a conscious decision, right? It's a conscious thought that you have to say, I'm going to open up to allow currency to flow, right? I'm going to pay for that thing, right? Because I want somebody to pay for my thing, right? I'm going to get into economy. I'm going to get into the flow of life. I'm going to give love. I'm going to give care. I'm going to give work, right? Because I want it flowing in and through me. I want to be a conduit, right? Not just a pond. I want things to move through me, right? Just like air moves through your body. You need your resources to move through your life, right? So it's a conscious thing. It's about consciousness. And the breath is a really good way to start practicing because usually when we hold on to our breath, right? When we hold on, we don't want to let go. They say hold your breath, right? Means like you're scared. You're scared about what's about to happen, right? But I'm here to say to get more, you have to let go. You have to release. Okay, that was it. Hope I wasn't too woo for you today. But I just wanted to share some thoughts. So, if you found value in this lesson today, let me know your thoughts. What do you do to help yourself to surrender? What are some strategies that you have taken to release so that you can get more, so that you can rise to your purpose? If you have strategies, I would really love to hear from you. If you found benefit in this, please let me know. Leave a comment below, subscribe, or share. I thank you so very much for joining with me. I hope my content is very valuable to you and valuable enough that you would share with someone. I thank you so much, and I'll see you next episode.